Hi, my name is Bob Hill. I'm the president of the Church of Scientology Mission of Riverdale at 308 Broadview Avenue in Toronto. The subject of today's sermon is called Games. Would you like to enjoy life more? Do you push yourself to work and not get much enjoyment out of it? I often hear from people that have that. Well, our sermon today is based on a lecture by L. Ron Hubbard, and it's called Games. It was given on January 12th, 1955. Now, before I start the sermon, I'm going to clear up a word with you, and the word is consideration. Now, a consideration is a thought, so you have a thought, or a postulate about something. A postulate is when you put something there and you want to accomplish it. So, a consideration is a thought or a postulate about something. This is truth that you yourself create. So keep that in mind. You're the one creating a consideration, and you create it as a truth. Now you can set up a pattern of a behavior for yourself, and you can make it continue. And that's a consideration. Now a consideration, I'll give you an example. I'm going to give you two sides of an example of a consideration. How's that? So you have a guy, and this guy gets up every morning and he thinks, I feel great. I can't wait to go to work. It's going to be a riot today. There's going to be a lot of action. And he goes to work and he's happy, and there's tons of action. He's getting all kinds of things going on, and he feels good about it. And then you get to another guy, and he gets up in the morning and he thinks, oh my God, I got to go to work. I can't take, my boss is just going to grind me into the ground. People are going to give me a hard time. I just know it. Well, that guy just created that. And he goes to work. Sure enough, boss sees him. What's your problem today? Just get to work. Some of his co-workers, or maybe he's in charge of, they keep telling him all their problems and how they can't get things done. And then some other junior boss comes in, starts yelling at everybody to get moving. And then the guy gets done his day's work. He's tired. He just wants to go home and just let it all go away. So that was his consideration. So that's how considerations work. That was pretty extreme what I just told you, but I thought I'd tell you. Now the only difference, I'm going to start the sermon now. The only difference between work and play is consideration. If you consider you're working, you're working. If you consider you're playing, you're playing. If everybody around you considers that what you're doing is work, you'll eventually start to figure it out as work too, because that's the agreed upon thing. You got that? So if you think work is work and it's arduous and there's no game, it's no fun, and everybody else around you that you're with considers, wow, it's work, it's hard, it's a drag, then, and you go into agreement with it, then it becomes work and it becomes tough. Now, if everyone around you decides that people should work, honest people work, and you're just playing, then you'll eventually demonstrate to them with a great deal of seam at brow. That the seam at brow means you're frowning, you're making that face where you got the seam right here. I'm trying to do it right now, but it's tough. So with that, then what you're doing is really work. So you have a guy, let's look at that. Let's say a guy is quite happy, and he's going along, he's maybe even working, and he's feeling good, he's getting things accomplished, and people around him start to comment like, well, he doesn't really work. Look, he's always happy, he's always smiling. He's not really doing anything, and it's just not right. It should be hard and arduous. That's what work is. He's not being honest. Well, then you start to worry about what you're doing, and then you get out of the game. I'll give you myself as an example. I like to operate in games, for example. So I'll go to work in the morning. I get up around 6:30. I start my day around 6:30, 7 o'clock. And I start handling all my communication. And then by 11 o'clock, I've done what most people would consider a day's work. Or more, actually. I've probably done, I've already gone through easily a day's work. However, others viewing that see me loafing around, say after 11 o'clock, because I love to get things done so I can goof off. I do, I'll be honest with you. I love to goof off. But it's considered that somehow I don't work. But then at the end of it all, I'll have people say to me, well, you don't, I've actually had people say to me, you don't really work, do you? And I said, yeah, I work. And they said, yeah, but you just seem to, you always seem to create income and have income. Like, how do you do it? Like, if you don't work, I said, well, I do work. I just don't consider it to be like a drag or a hard on me, for example. So, continuing the lecture, I remember this very, very vividly in one particular case where an individual had demonstrated to everybody that painting was very hard work. And very shortly thereafter, he stopped painting. It was too exhausting. So, as Ron says here, I took the fella and I counseled him, or I gave him processing. And I just got him out of that. And we just changed the definition of painting. And we had the awfulest time doing it because all of his relatives kept coming up to him, although he was making a great deal of money painting. And they kept walking up to him and telling him how he really played all the time and he wasn't serious about anything, and therefore it had to be work. We had to get all those agreements out of the road before this fellow could relax and again consider that painting was play. At which moment, this individual started to paint to such a degree that I think the stock in the stock market actually went up on Sherwin-Williams paints. It increased a couple of points. Sherwin-Williams is a company that makes paint. So jokingly, because the guy got so happy about painting again and started painting so much, it drove the stocks up for Sherwin-Williams Painting Company. Now here's an example then of work and play. Therefore, you could say that something was a game or that something was an arduous, horrible, serious endeavor. You could say that this was a game or this was life, by which you might mean life is serious and a game is just play. Now, if you were, however, to define life as a serious endeavor, you would have to mean that life was not a game and that it was work. And it was arduous and serious and that there was something wrong with it. Well, I'll tell you what is wrong with it. It's not a game anymore. It is life. You have taken this game called game and you have changed its name to life. And according to the datums you were given, life had to be serious. Well, life is a game. And that's all the trick that has happened. You still got the game. So don't play it as serious. Don't play it as arduous. You got tricked into thinking that it was hard and arduous and you bought it and you changed your considerations. Well, it is a game. It doesn't matter. And it's still a game right now. So keep that in mind. All right? And that's it for today's sermon. So keep life as a game. Keep moving forward. Have fun with it. And if you find yourself falling down into the doldrums and being solid and worried and feeling dark, well, just start playing the game again. Even if you're running into people that are nasty and they're yelling at you and they're giving you a hard time, laugh about it. Or, don't get serious about it. They're just going through some crazy stuff. So just let them go through the crazy stuff and don't get stuck in it, okay? Play the game. I will now read to you the prayer for total freedom. May the author of the universe enable all men to reach an understanding of their spiritual nature. May awareness and understanding of life expand so that all may come to know the author of the universe. And may others also reach this understanding, which brings total freedom. At this time, we think of those whose liberty is threatened, of those who have suffered imprisonment for their beliefs, of those who are enslaved or martyred, and for all those who are brutalized, trapped, or attacked. We pray that human rights will be preserved, so that all people may believe and worship freely, so that freedom will once again be seen in our land. Freedom from war and poverty and want, freedom to be, freedom to do, and freedom to have. Freedom to use and understand man's potential, a potential that is God-given and God-like. And freedom to achieve that awareness and understanding. That is total freedom. May God let it be so. So there you go. Play the game today. Play life as a game. Have some fun with it. Sure, you're going to run into things. Sure, things are going to happen. But remember, it's a game. And as long as you're playing the game, you will be in control and at cause. All right? See you next week.